Hello and welcome to Roguelike Dolls, episode 8, aka Sam's Choice Northern Lion, aka I didn't have a third one. I only thought of one joke, but I tried to keep it going, but it didn't work. What are we gonna do today? Oh my god, my cats are fighting each other. Hey, Stanley, are you being nice? Are you behaving as Christ to your sister Diddy Kong? You looking at me confused because I said your name? And you know that I don't like it when you fight? These cats are out of control. They're an absolute handful every day. I love them. Oh, jeez. Jesus. Are we going for another hard mode Kane run? Or hard mode Lazarus run? I don't think so. We'll come back. We'll put a pin in that, so to speak. Let's do a Magdalene run. We'll do hard mode, I guess. No, we'll do normal mode. I'm feeling like a coward. Diddy Kong is very much submitting to Stanley at the moment. He pounced on her in a bitter good, in a friendly, if not possibly sexual way. And now she's like frozen. They're both fixed. I fixed both these cats, or neutered them, or whatever you want to call it. They're also not related. They're both orange cats. They're some kind of American orange tabby. Off to a great start, clearly. I got Stanley in like 2015 from my sister-in-law, which... Alright, so some people, and I think like technically a sister-in-law is only the siblings of your spouse. Or like your in-laws are only like the siblings of whoever your spouse is, and not like generally like if my sister is married, I am not like a brother-in-law or sister-in-law to my sister's in-laws. But I'm not sure I like that. Like just from a like an economy of words perspective, my sister's in-laws is not, or my sister's sister-in-law is obtuse, and I don't really like it. Telepathy for Dummies is an item I don't usually take at 2-room charge. It's not that bad. Book of Shadows is like the conventional wisdom, and I will defend that choice. I think it's a good wisdom. However, I think, like, you know, if you always go with the conventional wisdom every single time, you are going to have runs that look very similar to each other. And yeah, Binding of Isaac is like an infinite content machine, right? It's like every run's different, every run's super spicy, every run's well, it's not necessarily spicy, but it can be spicy if that's the life you want to live. However, you know, if you're just like, I'm totally adverse to taking anything that isn't my comfort zone items, that isn't the perfectly optimal runs, you'll tend to have runs that look very similar to each other over time. And I think that's a perfectly valid way to play. If everyone has different goals for themselves in the game. They might want, for example, to win is a common goal that many players have. But that's not why we're here, and that's not why you're here. I think I don't think you're here to watch me win. If you wanted to watch somebody win, maybe go. Sinvicta is pretty good at winning. Cobalt Streak is decent at winning. Northern Lion is a perfectly fine winner. I think he enjoys winning. We're not about it. We're just vibing. We're gonna give you a little bit more variety. Like it's like my channel guarantee that if we see, at least during my VODs, if we see items like Cursed Eye, Curse of the Tower, Isaac's Heart, Missing No, all these like conventional why the fuck would you take that items, we're gonna take all of them every time. Oh my god, gotta pop it. We absolutely should be using this item at virtually every opportunity. It's a 2-room charge. No reason to be very conservative with a 2-room charge. It will be back before you know it. What am I saying? I think people should play video games in a way that makes them happy, and they should not play video games in a way that makes them unhappy. It's generally my opinion that people should, to the extent that it doesn't hurt other human beings, maximize their happiness. I think that's a very good way to live and carry on your affairs. I think having everyone be a happy, healthy human is be a great thing in the world. Oh man. Oh, we got Bookworm. You know what? I love this item, and it's great. And in my opinion, better than telepathy, and I think in the future on this channel, given the same choice, I greatly prefer the jump item. But we'll give telepathy its moment in the sun in this run. Second thought, fuck that. We are just gonna do nothing, work on our dodging for a little bit. I call this the Showboat Special. But what possible purpose could this serve? Like, why not shoot the boss? You hot dog, you lost your devil deal? Aha! No, we're a genius, and you're the fool. As suspected the whole time. We got the plum flute. I know I went on a tirade about how we wanted to give telepathy for dummies its moment in the sun, but I think this is more fun, so I'm gonna go with that. We want a key. We're gonna hold off on that. I know that it's like kind of a min-maxy sort of thing that I'm not usually about. But I'm definitely just gonna lose it, and at that point, it's not so much min-maxing. It's just purposefully losing max HP that we don't have to lose. Which nobody's impressed with. Like, you gotta understand your limits in life. That's pretty key, I think. People have said it. I personally don't know my limits, but I think a lot of happy people do. I think I was like on a little bit of a rant, sort of a train of thought on motorcycle racing in the last episode, but I didn't really finish it. I think I got distracted by something. So yeah, motorcycle racing. Instinctively, it's like cool, but I didn't understand enough about the sport to really appreciate the strategy. So my theory about the sport now is, besides just having skills as a motorcycle racer, is that it's all about managing a few different resource types on the track. Probably the most critical one of all, and I'm by no means an expert, but it's sort of what I've observed. The most critical thing that you can maintain on the track is your tires. So you want very healthy tires. It's pretty uncommon in MotoGP for there to be like a pit stop. It's not like Formula One where there's like usually at least one planned pit per race. In MotoGP, there's typically none unless, you know, occasionally there's special rules for rain. So once your tires go, you really can't meaningfully push. It's just so dangerous when you don't have that good grip. That you don't want to do it. There's some strategy with tire selection and like the ambient temperature of the track, which I think you need to be like, I think part of it's like the flavor that riders prefer, and part of it's like advanced material science and physics that I don't understand. We would love a key. We would love if that's the secret room, you know? That's another thing we would enjoy. Your secondary resource that's pretty important is fuel. You can have like a really, like, rich mix of fuel that allows your engine to run super hard, and you can go very fast. I wish we got this a floor earlier, but I'm not gonna whine. We'll take it. Terrible deal. We'll donate. Fuel obviously is important. It makes your bike go, but it also, like, as your fuel decreases during a race, you're lighter and you can technically go a little bit faster. So even though your tire health is sort of at a peak in, say, you know, lap 1 is probably the healthiest your tires are going to be, though not the most optimally performing. Usually you pick a tire that needs a few laps to warm up and then is going to reach a sort of nice pliable temperature for the rest of the race. The racers usually hit a sweet spot as their fuel kind of depletes and their tires heat up and their brakes get up to the right temperature and the machines just start working really well. There is a warm-up lap, and they do have efforts to, you know, get their bike into a good spot. They even have like little tire warmers to keep their tires warm on the track, but it's not really, even for all that effort, you still kind of gotta, you know, keep your tires in a healthy position. What do we got? We still want a key, and we have no way to get a key, I think. So tell you what, this is gonna be boring, but we're gonna use this. We're gonna do our best not to die on this boss. Very good work, and we got our devil deal, which is nice. Not exactly big winners, and we're gonna have to take this. to get monster manual, which we want, because now we can utilize our school bag, which allows us to carry and charge 2 items at once. We'll do a little bit of super secret room hunting. There's a lot of places it could be on this map. Second attempt, not bad. Sometimes there's multiple hands in a room, so you don't want to stop walking once the first one drops until you know how many hands there are. Emperor card is nice. We are backtracking for the Eternal Heart that we picked up earlier, or that we didn't pick up earlier on purpose. We wanted to save it. We also didn't get our item room. And this is great. We love it. And because we picked up our Eternal Heart, we're not gonna go back and play that Demon Beggar. It's, like, fine. We are gonna do this because it would make an amazing, like, an amazing clip if we had happened to, like, blow up one of these and, like, Magic Mush is on the platform. If, like, anyone, like, gave a shit about it, they could go back and count how many times we've blown up mushrooms and how many times we've found magic mush from a mushroom. So far, if I had to guess a number, I think we've blown up, like, the 30 mushrooms and we've found no magic mushrooms, which makes me think that maybe it's 1 in 100 or something. 1 in 50 is a number that it could be. Okay. We got a floor. We're probably not going to get into this boss trap room unless we really fuck up something. We have just abysmal speed, which makes it pretty hard to draw nice circles with our, we're just playing it safe. If we could get a circle around this guy, we would be, you know, some of the greatest video game players of all time. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, a lot of people have said it. They've given us very flattering compliments, which I just have to reject out of hand. You know, I'll allow it. Just this once, I will allow it. People can compliment me on the gaming skills. Leave a comment that says, "Way to go, Molly. Very good gaming." If you thought that was good gaming skills, if it wasn't really impressive to you, I guess my advice is to fuck off and never come back, because that's probably the best play that I'm ever gonna do on this channel. If you want, like, good gameplay, I think, you know, Cobalt Streak is an excellent YouTuber who has very decent Isaac skills, good fundamentals, good gamecraft. That's not what we're here for. We're here for throwing away easy runs by picking up funny items, because I find it humorous. We'll take another hit of Monster Manual. We won't go in the store yet. I know, like, doing things strategically is shameful, but hear me out. I like the item room. I like the idea of getting an item from the item room. And, like, while there very well could be a key in the store, why would I bother? I mean, if I had to choose, I still think I want one item room. And we've already maxed out our donation machine, so, like, long term, I'm gonna get a lot more pleasure out of the immediate value of the item room. Excellent. Oh, shit. I mean, the game's given us so much dang money, though. It's hard to argue with that. We actually do get to go in here, which is wonderful. Which is awful. Huge mistake. Biggest mistake of my life. I didn't think we were gonna get a chance to go into this room on this floor on account of our extremely high HP. But you know, secret room placement was favorable. We have 2 keys. That's excellent. We will be going to our store. None of these are special rocks, so we're not gonna worry about that. Not one bit. Oh my god. We're okay. HP wise, we're not concerned. Draw me a goddamn circle. That's right. This is the most hidden secret room on the planet, or not secret room, treasure room, where it's really defying. We'll take that. We'll save it for the next floor. You know what? That's kind of good. Yeah. We're not gonna worry about it too much. I think the monster manual is better than the flute, no doubt, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for variety. And if the game is just gonna give us like 30 activatable items in the same run, I'm gonna say, welcome aboard, sir. Please, may I have 5 more activatable items? That worked for about 0 seconds, but cool. I was hoping for like a little bit more like juice out of that, but it's fine. I think on normal enemies it has a slightly longer duration. It's also important to remember that activatable or like passive items are a crutch. You know, we don't need them. No offense to like, you know, anyone who uses a crutch, but because that seems valuable if you need one, but we shouldn't be hogging all of them. I was thinking about that, like, arguably calling stuff a crutch is like sort of inherently ableist. It's just kind of a common expression. It's like, yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using a crutch, and certainly if you need one, or if you feel like it. I don't know why you would use one if you didn't need it, but if you felt like it, you could use a crutch. That's no problem. And there's so many like words that are just common in English that sort of have, or especially American English, that kind of have like nasty roots. They're either like, you know, I think a common one is people use the expression like, you know, and not like horrible people, just like uncritical, I guess, use the expression that comes from the word gypsy. It's the shortened word of that, which I don't it's just not really nice to refer to, you know, the act of swindling as a bastardized form of a moniker for a ethnic group. That seems, you know, not so great. Not to do a bunch of slurs discourse, but I think about it. I was making a post the other day that was like, this isn't slurs discourse. This is like is I forget if etymology is the one that has to do with, is entomology bugs and words is etymology. I think this is more etymology than anything to do with slurs. Oh, I get it. Pause. It isn't having a long duration because it lasts until you shoot again. So pause is about positioning, not about getting a thing. If we want to freeze enemies for a while, we need like mom's pad. Yeah, so I was thinking about the etymology of some words. I was making a post the other day that was like, I wanted to refer to a butthole as a skunk trumpet, which I thought was like a pretty novel way of referring to a butthole, and I stand by that it is. And I was like, you know, is skunk like some arcane racial slur that I'm unfamiliar with? Because I don't want to like, you know, inadvertently use like a weird racially charged language that I'm just not like culturally competent enough to be aware of in a post. And it turns out that no, best I can tell, it's not. I guess I'll use Empress. That's beneficial to us. We'll switch to this. We might want to pause. Depending on how the brimstone portion of this fight goes, we may want to pause. But I ended up on a Wikipedia page that was like, removed entries from the wiki page on like racial slurs. So it's like entries that people added and then editors or other people requested for them to be removed at some point. And like a lot of them were, you know, fake trolling stuff, but the one that really like was close to home for me was scone, which is a completely non-offensive term for residents of Wisconsin. Oh, I have a ladder. I could just get some of these things. Our Bumbo is fully charged, but we're gonna raid our donation machine a little bit more to make sure. We love feeding coins to our boy. Yeah, I think he might have one more, stage in him. I have no respect for my donation machine. We'll keep going. Yeah, so scone is just like it comes from like a shortened version of the word Wisconsin, and it refers to residents of the state of Wisconsin. And it just cracked me up that it was on the removed entries from that page. It's like, who did this? And why? And it's like, was somebody like trolling, or was there just some guy out there who earnestly was like, you know, mad at residents of Minnesota perhaps for being, I guess, racist against citizens of Wisconsin? the name of the state, Wisconsin itself, a lot of people assume it's an indigenous word, and that's not quite correct, I think. Because there are a lot of things in Wisconsin that are indigenous words, like names of locations and stuff, and oh yeah, now we got the final form. But I think the origin of the word Wisconsin is that it's like a French map maker wrote a word on a map, and the word that he wrote on the map might have been the like indigenous language name for their region, and then I think non-French people eventually sort of picked it up and mispronounced it because they didn't recognize the first letter, because I think he had like weird handwriting. That's just a fact I know about Wisconsin. It's like a vague fact because I didn't actually look up the story about the origin of the word Wisconsin, but it's just one of those things that you learn in the car driving around when you're like listening to, you know, the public radio, which is one of those things that I sort of miss about commuting to work. Not that I don't especially like want to commute to work. We're gonna keep farming for this. Hematemesis, okay. Yeah, give me that. You know, not that I'm like super into like having a commute or something. I'd rather be doing something good with my time, but I do miss out on a lot of types of content that I used to consume back when I, you know, was driving to a job every day. I've been working from home for the past year, so I'm just not consuming as much public radio. I'm missing out on a ton of like factoids that used to be like part of my media diet, but no longer. Just keep breaking these. We have infinite keys on this floor, so maybe we open one of those and it's a bomb. We're just heading to the store. There's 3 pins in this room. We're gonna try not to take damage from them. Try not to take 2 damage from them. I think 1 damage is fine. I think almost any person would probably take a damage in that situation. Yeah, but I'm just missing out on a ton of factoids, but I guess I'm also missing out on like a lot of extra rage in my day that I'm now getting from Twitter. It's like I switched from like the Hierophant. You know, if they're just gonna throw more consumables at us, I will take that. I will trade it out for pause. Why? Because I forget pause exists because I don't value it. We're gonna blow up this one. That's fantastic. Off we go. Off we go. To the boss. Okay. Up. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of valuable like anger that you can get out of consuming, you know, public radio. You can you'll get local politicians saying dumb stuff, and you like don't get that anywhere else. You're not really gonna get that on Twitter probably. Very often, at least. You get one of my favorites is like everyone whines about like debate YouTubers, and I think they're actually right, that like, you know, platforming Nazis and other shit and basically not knowing jack shit about fucking anything is terrible. But I don't think we give enough credit to like how NPR likes to also pretty uncritically air fascists. Like, I forget what the I forget what the name was, but there's this interview that was on like at Wisconsin Public Radio at one point that I forget what the name of the thing is. It's one of those right-wing like one of those right-wing think tanks who has a very respectable sounding name, but is like actually an ACLU recognized, like, or Southern Poverty Law Center recognized hate group. Like, I think in this case it was like the Center for Immigration Studies or something, which like anyone whose acronym is CIS is very suspicious to me. Right, like how good could they be? But you know, they're actually an anti-immigrant hate group, and the poor NPR lady who is a probably not responsible for booking, I would imagine. I don't know the like organizational structure of the NPR newsroom. I don't know what these socks do, but we'll take it. Speed up and my feet feel stronger. I don't know what it does, but I would guess that we are immune to floor hazards. Luck down, I'm not into. But it's fine. We're not panicking. We don't have to take the pill. Yeah, oh my god, this is amazing. Floor hazards, especially in the womb, are probably my biggest weakness as a player, because I don't pay attention. Even normally, like when I'm tryharding, which I never do in this game, on my own, having like a little casual run that's just for me, not this highbrow intellectual Binding of Isaac that I play for my viewers on this channel. Even then, I just like something about the red on red. I just refuse to let it enter my brain as like a thing that I need to think about and not take damage from. Anyways, this poor NPR lady who probably isn't responsible for booking this like asshole from the anti-immigrant hate group, like, is getting super frustrated because he's this just incredibly bad faith, racist, anti-immigration advocate. And it's like, who is your booking, dude? And why didn't they Google this clown? And it's like, it's unfair to call him a clown because, he's not a clown. He's an extremely harmful anti-immigrant hate monger. And one might be tempted to think that, like, this was probably 2017-ish. Trump was in the White House, and this was a think tank that the Trump administration was, going after a lot. Or not going after, but, like, quoting and using as, like, their primary reference source for statistics on immigration. Like, they would often cite materials produced by the like Center for Immigration Studies or whatever. I forget the precise name of this group. It's been a while since I thought about them. So like in one sense, yeah, it's not like it's a fringe think tank. It's just like an extreme far right anti-immigrant hate group that happens to be well liked by the President of the United States. So you can make arguments about, is it really NPR's or WPR, I think in this case, was it really their responsibility to like not platform this person? Is it even responsible to ignore fascists, you know, in general as a strategy? It might not make sense to be like, you know, not engaging with them, but I think definitely if you are gonna have them on the channel, you gotta introduce them as a anti-immigrant think tank or an anti-immigration hate group, which isn't even hyperbole. It's like, you know, I get that the Southern Poverty Law Center is like what's the word for it? They're a little bit biased in the way that they don't like hate groups. They tend to take a really negative light on people who, you know, violently oppress marginalized people. So, like, I'll admit that that's a slant. It's like a perfectly justifiable like bias that a person could have. A tilt to their agenda. They definitely have an agenda that's like, you know, they're opposed to hate and to racially motivated violence, and I think it's like really good. But you should, if you're gonna have those people on somewhere, you really gotta give them like a fair introduction and be like, welcome to the show, this Nazi I'm talking to. Which, you know, I don't exactly understand the rant I'm on. I guess the thesis that I have is just, we don't necessarily pay attention sometimes to trends that are outside of our immediate media circle. Like if you're a very online person on Twitter, there's a good chance that you'll be like, oh yeah, debate YouTubers, they're a thing. They do XYZ, which I, you know, approve or don't approve of, but I think there is a broad trend of, especially more so a few years back, during the early days of the Trump administration, very irresponsibly lending platform to, you know, bad dudes. It's also the sort of thing that I don't think people really need to reinvent the wheel on. It's not like debating people who are, you know, not necessarily acting in good faith, or they might be actively malicious. It's kind of a thing that's a proud tradition in, you know, Western democracies, dating back to, you know, Athenian democracy. And, like, I'm pretty sure even, like, Plato and stuff had, like, it's been a while since I read The Republic, but I think there were certain, like, voices, like, you know, those sort of old philosophy texts were kind of like, what's the word for it? It's you know, Plato was sort of the original debate YouTuber. He'd basically write these dialogues, and people in the dialogues had different opinions about stuff. We have an abundance of luck down pills. If we get one more, I'm gonna take all of them. So there'd be like a guy who is, you know, a so-and-so, or he's he believes in divine command theory, or another guy who's like, democracy is terrible, I hate democracy. And then there's the person who represents Plato's opinions, who is like extremely handsome and you know, correct and just and witty and you know, it's clear that that's the person who we, you know, at the conclusion of the dialogue, who we should be agreeing with. It's fairly transparent, but you know, even within those works, those sort of ancient philosophy works, there is just bad faith discussion. From characters, specific characters in dialogue. So I think even like Hume eventually wrote about it. It's been again, it's been a while since I've cracked a book on any subject. I don't like to like read about stuff. I try not to. I think books are nerdy and for people who like don't have sex. So you know, that's not gonna be me. Coming up on like year 3 of my dry spell here, but you know, we gotta stick with the method of never reading anything or having a personality of any sort and seeing if that turns into sexual encounters at some point. From what I gather, it won't. But, you know, it could happen. Crazier things have happened. Less interesting people with no hobbies. They apparently have lots of sex. Not really my current sort of, you know, outlook on things. Anyways, yeah, like I think at some point even like Hume wrote about. I guess we didn't need to do that. That was worth it, but unnecessary. We didn't need to take damage there. What did Hume like to call people? Scottish philosopher David Hume liked to call the sort of bad faith character in his stories a knave. Like the foolish knave, or maybe the roguish knave was sort of the like jerk name for you know, the jerk asses in like Hume's dialogues. Hume liked to do dialogues too, I think. Again, I haven't read a book in like a decade, so
experimental pill.
Take it with a grain of salt. What was the last book I read? I read Janet Mock's autobiography. And that was a very good read in my opinion. You should definitely check it out. Now, can I remember the name of the book off the top of my head? I know that Surpassing Certainty is the second one. Redefining Realness is the name of the biography. It's been a while. I probably read that in 2019. I'm like, you know, I read stuff, but I typically don't read books. I'm kind of an illiterate in that way. I mean, that was something of a rant. I guess my point is, you know, don't put hate groups on public radio when I'm driving, because it'll give me a fucking aneurysm. Anyways, like and subscribe and hit the bell icon, or dislike the video if you thought my rant was pretty fucking dumb. And I will see you next time. My favorite tooth to lose, I think I would, if I had to lose a tooth to answer the question from last time, I would probably lose one of my canines just to like own it and really have an upfront like hole for like a straw or something, you know. I guess for next time, if you if you had to have a type of bird wing or flying animal wing on your back, what kind would it be?